Today, prosecutors wrapped up day 3 of testimony in the federal hate crimes trial of the 3 white men convicted of murdering Ahmad Aubrey nearly 2 years ago. Federal prosecutors say Travis and Gregory McMichael and William Bryan chased and killed Ahmad because he was black. Today, a Glenn County patrol officer testified that Travis McMichael's testimony was not true about a string of break-ins in the neighborhood where Ahmad was killed. The jurors also heard from an agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation whose body camera captured William Bryan admitting to chasing Ahmad in his pickup truck because he, quote, figured he stole something or shot somebody. Now to Minneapolis, where the federal trial of 3 former police officers charged with violating George Floyd's civil rights resumes. Thomas Lane, J. Alexander King, and Tutau are accused of failing to provide medical aid to Floyd while Derek Chauvin pressed his knee against his neck for more than 9 minutes. King and Tao are also charged with failing to intervene. Late this afternoon, King's defense rested its case, and Lane's defense team were up next. They called one witness a former Minneapolis police officer. With me to discuss today's testimony are criminal defense attorneys Phil Hamilton and Gerald Griggs. Great to have you both here. Let's start with a former officer, J. Alexander King, who returned to the stand for cross-examination this morning. The prosecutor questioned him at length about George Floyd's condition while he was restrained. King said he could hear Floyd's speech getting slower and could also see that at some point Floyd stopped moving. When the prosecution asked King if he could see that Floyd was in need of medical attention, King said, quote, I never really defined it as a serious medical need. Phil, does this testimony help or hurt King's case?
I think the latter part really undercuts the credibility to the extent that he never saw this as a serious medical issue. From a commonsensical standpoint, the entire world could see that there was a serious medical issue going on that ultimately led to Mr. Floyd's death. I think that was the weakest part of his defense. To the extent that he had any strong part, any credible part, it's essentially the a few good men defense that he's been going with, which is that this was my superior. I didn't have that much training. I had to rely on a lot of his experience, his seniority, and certainly